Okay, so what do we do when we've got our Qualtrics survey? We've got a dump of the data, so basically all the results and the questions in the spreadsheet, and we want to do some statistics. Well, there's a set of stages in the middle, and that's what we're kind of going to focus on in this class. There's validation, where we look if the data is what it's supposed to be, if it's useful to us, how much is missing, etc. Then we want to think, is the data in a useful format for us to actually analyze? If we have, for example, gender categories or college major categories, but they're in fact as numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we were to do a pie chart or a graph or something with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that wouldn't be very useful. So we may need to make sure that all the data have the correct labels, i.e. they're properly coded. We need to look at, the data entry. And again, I said this book is a little bit kind of out of date on things like that. Most data entry now is done automated. Even if we have an interviewer assisted survey with the interview in a field, most of this is done by iPad and automatically uploaded. It's unlikely that we have some kind of, interview scripts and then we have somebody typing them up by hand. And the first thing we do before we do any sort of analysis is we just want to have a look at the data, see what we've got. So we maybe want to put the data in tables, summary tables, i.e. we tabulate the data. And from there, we go on to data analysis, which is going to be the focus of next class. Okay, so let's just kind of go into a little bit in validation and different types of validation. Then we have a definition that we had in week 1, and that's curbstoning, i.e. we actually have some cheating or falsification. And this is actually quite difficult to find out. There's lots of academic researchers who've lost their careers through cheating or falsification of data. Sometimes you just have to look at patterns in the data to look if they've been generated randomly. Now that sort of stuff is a little bit beyond this class, but you do need to be aware that maybe you have an interviewer who doesn't do the interview and sticks 5 for every answer. You do need to think a little bit about that and whether we need methods to check against possible curbstoning. Okay, so let's look at the areas covered by validation. We'll discuss each of these individually. We have fraud, screening, procedure, completeness, and courtesy. So let's have a look at fraud. In going back to chapter 1, either the interviewer could commit fraud by misfilling in the survey, giving it to friends, or filling it in them themselves, or the respondent could commit fraud. I said, the example I gave is when I have a YouTube pop-up I need to get rid of, I'll just press the answers that I think are going to get rid of the product, the pop-up as quickly as possible. I would never say, yes, I've bought this product, because then I'm going to have 4 or 5 more questions about the product. So in a way, with YouTube, I think it's justified, but I am committing respondent fraud. So another little example, we've talked a little bit in this class about the importance of online reviews and e-word of mouth. So companies quite often try to massage this. They'll actually pay people to actually do a lot of fake reviews for a product. And quite often, they will pay to have people give negative reviews to their competitors. So fake reviews and fake kind of social media is actually a major problem. So I just want to play you a short video.
The I-Team exposes the booming business of fake online reviews, the kind of reviews that you depend on to choose a restaurant or, say, another business. Last year, an I-Team investigation exposed how a lot of the reviews on Yelp, Google, and Facebook appear to be fake. Well, now our investigative reporter Joel Grover unmasks the people who are writing those phony reviews for a price.
We've discovered that any restaurant, any business can buy positive 5-star reviews to lure you in. But who's behind some of those phony reviews? The I-Team tracked them down from the beaches of Orange County to a basement in Bangladesh. Until recently, Black Ink Stationery of Pacific Palisades didn't have many online reviews. But that all changed when owner Patty Black agreed to help the I-Team expose people like this.
How many review need?
Who create and post phony reviews.
It's not clean. It's not honest.
First, Patty went on a site called Fiverr, which features dozens of ads like these.
I will write Google, Facebook, local review.
She signs up for a $26 package from Matthew Smith, and Matthew asks her to Skype. So we join in. You write the reviews yourself?
Yes.
Are you in Bangladesh?
Yes, I am from Bangladesh.
Turns out Matthew appears to be Hassan Qayyum from Bangladesh.
I will write Facebook and Google review.
How much for each review?
Google 4 and Facebook 5.
And within less than 10 minutes, already a new Facebook review, Doris F. Davis. In fact, it was Hassan who wrote this review from Doris Davis, plus 3 more rave reviews on Black Ink's Facebook page. And Hassan created 8 5-star Google reviews.
Doris says, I love this shop. Who are these people? They don't know my store.
We found the reviews Hassan posted appear to be from fictitious, made-up people. One red flag, the Facebook reviewers have no friends and no details about themselves. Are the names you use of real people? You use fake names of people?
Yes.
How many reviews have you written for people?
1,000.
You can't lie. You can't lie.
But it happens a lot, says internet consultant Jason Brown, founder of the website reviewfraud.org.
Countless businesses all throughout the United States that are falsifying reviews.
Like Bulletproof Digital, which we tracked down to this office complex in Huntington Beach.
Hi, Tom. This is Patty.
Patty signs up with Bulletproof, and a manager named Tom says she'll hear from an employee named Mason. She gets an email from Mason telling her to check her Google reviews, and there will be a new review from Angie Morris. They also fabricated a review from Martin J., whose picture really belongs to a businessman named Christopher Salzberg in Florida, who told us someone stole my photograph off the internet. So I showed up at Bulletproof to talk to them. Are you creating reviews of people that don't exist?
I'm sorry, I can't talk to you.
Tom, the manager, and Mason, the review writer, is what you're doing legal. Walked away and then locked us out. We'd like to talk to someone. Some states like Florida and New York have taken action, including issuing fines against businesses that buy and sell fake reviews. California has yet to take that kind of action. And finally, we asked Google and Facebook to take down the fake reviews for Black Ink Stationery. They're investigating.
Okay, so I thought that was a really nice, succinct video.
Well, breaking news in Arlington Heights.
Shows some of the potential issues with fake online reviews. A few things to notice: it's not particularly expensive. You know, if you want to build your reputation for your company, they were like $25, $26 each. You know, for the reviews. That's not a bad price to pay. How do we kind of find fake reviews? Well, you know, companies like Google and Amazon could help by running AI to try and find examples of fake reviews. In fact, if you look at Yelp.com, they actually have, you know, trusted reviews and non-trusted reviews. And users who are more embedded in the social networks, who have Yelp status, who obviously write, you know, reviews with differing star values. They're not writing all positive or negative reviews. They tend to be more trustworthy. So they'll have like almost an AI algorithm to predict which reviews are fraudulent or not. There's also simple things. Again, you saw if a review in Facebook comes from a profile with no friends or seemingly a lot of fake friends that wouldn't make sense, then that's obviously going to be a fraudulent review. I think I showed you FakeSpot before. I'll just quickly show you again. So FakeSpot will actually, you can add it to Chrome. I've just actually done it. So just go to fakespot.com, add to Chrome. And once you've added to Chrome, you can actually, it will be embedded when you go to kind of sites like Amazon. So let's just see what's available on Amazon. Let's say I want a Fire TV. So you can see here, we've got the Fire TV is $339. There's obviously some fake. I wouldn't think Amazon would be setting up fake reviews, but the FakeSpot analysis that there's potentially some fake reviews here, but generally the seller overall is approved. You'd think Amazon would not be putting fake reviews on their own platform. It may be just to do with the algorithm, but let's just look at let's just male hair restoration. If we have these kind of slightly weird and wacky products, here we go. You know, if we have these kind of weird and wacky products that, you know, unapproved healthcare and things like that, then these tend to be things where, you know, vitamin supplements, etc. These tend to be things where there are a lot of fake online reviews. They're pretty prevalent in this area. So let's just see, you know, I'm getting a little bit older, my hairline's receding. I'm going to buy this kind of weird sort of helmet thing for $965, which is going to kind of help me grow my hair back. And you can see, okay, that's, I guess the seller approved doesn't mean very much, but we have a fake spot review analysis, and we find that a lot of these reviews are going to be kind of false. And then our engine detected Amazon has altered some of the reviews from being fake. It's removed over nearly 3,000 reviews. There's a pattern of deception. There's a lot of reviews. You know, there may be only 35% of the reviews are potentially reliable. And then we have things like insights, details of good reviews, review time history. So suddenly if you have a huge spike in reviews, then that's going to be problematic. It looked like, you know, Amazon decided that, okay, all these reviews are fake. So it kicked out most of the reviews around January 2022. And then slowly we've been adding reviews. So it looks like this company got in trouble for actual fake reviews. Okay, so that's just an example of fake spot. Okay, the rest of this is kind of common sense. We've already talked about screening questions. You know, making sure you've got to be over 18 to fill in a certain survey, over 21 to get, you know, over 21. Now, quite often people will lie on these things. You know, if there's a free prize for your survey, maybe I'm an alcohol company and says, are you over 21? People will lie. So it may be that, you know, there's online validation checking e-commerce services. So maybe if people provide a credit card information, we can do some cross-matching to make sure, yes, these people really are over 21. Again, this is much easier with in-person interviewing because we can follow up if we have any suspicious questions. We can get people's IDs. We can get a little more background information to find out potential issues. Okay, what about the procedure? So I'm going to show you a data set in a minute where we're testing fear of statistics. And what we do is we're going to, before somebody takes the stats exam, we're going to measure their heart rate 10 minutes before the exam and 10 minutes afterwards. If, for example, we set, you know, if we don't do this, we measure the heart rate an hour later, then the effects of the exam will have worn off. So the procedure wouldn't have been followed properly. When we were doing the taste test for the candy, like the week ago, it was a bit of fun, and we're going to analyze that data. But if I was doing that, you know, if I was designing a procedure, I would need to make sure that the candies were randomized. I would probably have people sip a glass of water in between each of the candies to remove the aftertaste of the others. And if we didn't follow that procedure, then there's going to possibly be, you know, issues in qualities. And the other example I've given, imagine we're doing an intercept survey on people's retail experience. So we want it when they come out of the shop, we're going to ask them about their experience in the store. However, if our interviewer's a little bit lazy and doesn't fancy going to a shopping center and they ask people, you know, in the bar like 5 or 6 hours later, then that experience is not going to be fresh on, you know, the person being surveyed mind. And we're going to get, like, you know, maybe lower valency in their views on things, and it's not going to be particular accuracy. Okay, and completeness, lots of reasons for this. You know, we might have a lazy interviewer who doesn't fill in things properly. People may drop out. If it's the very rare pen and pencil survey, people might not fill it in properly. You know, online we can force completeness, but, you know, if we have people fill in a lot of tedious things, like I said, we fill in lots of demographic questions at the beginning of the survey, this might actually induce a dropout effect. So, that might cause potential issues. And finally, the last one is just kind of common sense. Details. Courtesy can be an issue. There may be courtesy bias due to people maybe not wanting to upset someone. So if I was to say, how do you like my product on a scale of 1 to 7? Some people, if you're in person, are going to say, no, it was terrible. I hated that product. So we need to kind of think a little bit about this when we're asking for feedback and response. Generally, we need to be as unbiased as possible in interviews and have a degree of professionalism. Ask questions politely, dress professionally, etc. So again, courtesy is a little bit of kind of common sense here. Okay, so we're going to actually fire up SPSS in a minute, but quite often, raw data, there may be mistakes. So there may be somebody clicks the wrong category. There may be instances where they say, okay, I earn $10 million a year. That's obviously wrong. Some mistakes we can find, some are harder to check. Most kind of these days we can run some AI to find like really strange answers. Maybe we have some very rare categories. So we're doing a US survey and somebody clicks that they're from Uzbekistan. They've just literally clicked too many times. A kind of a filter rule, an AI rule could probably find that problem. Again, somebody earning $10 million a year, if you're earning $10 million a year, we're probably not going to be filling in this survey for a $10 bonus. So we can use a little bit of common sense when we're doing screening, but we also want to check that things have been recorded properly. If we have an open-ended question and maybe it was recorded, maybe it's transcribed by computer, we may want to check the quality of the transcribing. So again, quite a bit of common sense there. And then finally, we have the data entry into a software package. As I said, this is almost always done automatically now. But again, if we're entering maybe an Excel file into SPSS or an Excel file into database and we're converting it, data formats are a little bit different. So we may find some errors in conversion. We may find potential missing data. We may want to organize our data from maybe a table format in the database into one sheet in Excel. These are really issues that would be talked about in the database class. It's a little bit beyond the scope of the class, but just realize that we may, when we enter the data, we do want to check for potential errors and missing data, which we're going to analyze in the next video in SPSS.